Hi everyone. I had to come live for this. I haven't been live for quite a while. And I literally pulled over to do this live. Recently, I was asked to, um, okay. Recently, I was asked to speak at an event, and the event was to do with an engagement party. That happens from time to time where I go in and speak to women about relationships and intimacy, as it relates to um, groups of women and how they feel about their partners and so forth, going into a new relationship or marriage and all of the above. This was one of those incidences. So I went in, and usually what happens is we talk about relationships, and everybody has their own idea of what the relationship looks like, what they want it to look like, and so forth. So in this particular instance, I did a scenario, and we talked about how it can look, what would responses be by those in attendance. And one of the attendees, which was a beautiful female, she looked at me and said to me, I could just punch you in the face, and laughed it off. So I'm saying, okay, I've been around long enough to know there was something behind that. But of course, I'm doing what I have to do, and I really don't have time to waste on somebody else's behavior. That was some time back. I just got a call from this individual. Would you believe that she knows I'm sharing this, because we ended up having a wonderful, powerful conversation as grown women, which was great. But would you believe this woman was very reluctant to participate, to interact with me during this event, because she thought that I was having an affair with her husband. She thought that I was having an affair with her husband. Why? Because she saw my number in his phone. Thankfully, it's been some time, and the reason she contacted me is because he had been looking me up. He follows me. He now and then throws out little tidbits about men and relationships and stuff. And he recently asked her how would she feel about being coached by me. Her light bulb went off. She thought to herself and said, I was horrible to her. And let me go back a bit. Believe it or not, I just thought I hit a nerve in one of her relationships, or her relationship. I didn't think she was truly honest about wanting to punch me in the face, right? And I just walked away. I didn't take it that personal. I didn't carry it with me. I actually completely forgot about it until she called. She called to apologize. She called to let me know that her behavior wasn't acceptable, and she hopes she didn't offend me, and she didn't want me to be walking around feeling as though somebody wanted to punch me in the face. I'm glad she called, because she also learned that I have forgotten about her, and I did think her remark was kind of peculiar at that time, but I left it there. I just figured she has some unfinished business that she needs to work on for herself. All that's to say, this woman is now going to be coached by me. And why I'm on this live is because there are so many women in similar situations. She said I can share, so I'm going to share. For this period of time, she has looked in his phone. She's seen my number. She's never seen interaction, because I've never talked to him. But she looked at my phone. She's looked at my WhatsApp photos as they've changed to different pictures. And she's always envisioned what is she going to say to me when she sees me, because she wanted to see me. She wanted to ask, why was I interacting with her husband? And I'm so thankful she did reach out, because in this way, and I'm glad that he opened up and asked her why would she be coached by me, and why he has my number and so forth. He never told her he had my number. He don't even think she's been in his phone, but she knew as a result of that's why he had my number. And I'm saying all that to say, one, as his wife, or many of you in long-term relationships, as his wife, why didn't she say anything to him? as his wife or his significant long-term girlfriend, whatever you want to call those women that stay in these relationships for long periods of time without real, commitments. Why didn't she acknowledge that she had seen my information and asked him why he had it? She walked around for months, weeks, I think 2.5 months, with the knowledge that my information was in his phone. 2, she also shared with me how she's seen numerous women's contact details in his phone, and she's also approached numerous women. I have an issue with that. I believe everybody has experienced something similar to that. I know I have over the years when I was younger. But I, as a relationship coach, as a woman who has a past, like all of us do, who's had bad relationships, who's had bad experiences, when you start holding on to your husband or your partner's stuff and internalizing it and feeling as though it's stripping your well-being, stripping your self-esteem because you don't feel good enough and all these things, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice. There is not one woman on this planet, on earth, that should be sitting there going to bed nights wondering why her husband's got another woman's number in his phone, or wondering who he's with and why he's with her, without you acknowledging that to him, without you bringing it to his attention. Honey, listen, I know I shouldn't go in your phone, but I just felt uncomfortable. I got in your phone. Why was Tina's number in your phone? Just that simple. And take it a step further. For those of you who know your husbands out there or your significant others out there having an affair, and you're just sitting back as though you should just sit back and receive it. Why? Why are you doing that? You deserve so much more. And most times it starts with a conversation. You have that conversation with your partner. You let them know how that makes you feel. And then you have to be the one to make the decision whether or not you're going to stay or leave. Or stay and get supportive services. Whether you two go marriage constant therapy, whatever it may be. Separate for a while until you get it together. Be honest with each other. But you are in control of you. I often say my program, own it. Because you have to earn your position in that relationship. Not earn him or her, but earn your position in that relationship. You have to take the position and the stance that, am I going to put up with this? And if I am, why? And if I'm not, what form of approach am I looking to use? Not anger, not frustration, not slamming doors, not breaking up phones and walking away and shouting and arguing and flattening tires and busting windows out and doing all those things, stalking other women and calling other women and doing all those things, or threatening other women. What are you going to do about that? That's going to be productive and conducive to your empowering you as a woman. So let me just tell you how that situation could have been handled. Now, just to recap for those of you who just joined in. Recently, I was at an event. I was asked to come in and speak at an event as a relationship coach to a group of women. It was an engagement party. This beautiful woman was about to be married and so forth. While there, I talked about certain scenarios. One of the guests that was there, she threatened to punch me in the face and laughed it off. I didn't take it personal. She recently called me, which is recent today, to acknowledge that, one, that was bad behavior. 2, she apologized because the reason she reacted to me in that way is because she thought by seeing my number in her husband's phone that I was having an affair with him. I'm a relationship coach. She found out recently that by him asking her, would she be offended by coming to me as a couple, that's when the light bulb went off. Oh my goodness, he's had her number because he wanted us to go as a couple. And for man take longer than women. We women could get a number and call right away. Man, he might have had my number way back last year. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I'm saying all that to say, in the midst of all of this, me talking with her, I found out that she's been in a relationship, in her marriage for years, and just settling because she felt as though he was the one in control. And take it a step further, he's actually the one wants to reach out to get help. And maybe because he's been busted one too many times, He might just want to save his marriage, maybe because they have a lot of property together and a business, who knows? Or he might just genuinely want to make his relationship work with his wife. I don't know. But all that's to say, women, we have to be very careful about contacting other women. We have to be very careful about putting our lives in the palm of our man's hand or woman. You are in control of you. You have to earn who you are in that relationship. If you are his wife, I'm Tina. I'm a wife. But I'm Tina, and I earn who I am. I know who I am. I know my worth. And I know what I stand for. Do I earn my husband? Absolutely not. Can I control his every move, his every whim? I cannot. But what I can do is express my expectation to him about what I think this relationship should look like from my point of view, and he do the same me. You get me? And so if you feel as though you're in a relationship and you are allowing your partner to control and dictate who you are in the name of love, I want you to go back to that drawing board and question yourself. What is love? Am I loving self? Because in order for you to love anybody else, you have to love self first. Now, unless it's our children, because that's unconditional love that just rolls out of us. We don't have to plan it. It just happens as soon as we see the beautiful face. But as it relates to these relationships, I was really taken aback to know that this lady, she really wanted to punch me in my face. And all because she thought I was having an affair with her husband. All because she didn't have the guts or the words, the courage to approach him about my number in his phone. Can you imagine? And, after talking to her, we had a very nice conversation. I'm so glad she called me. I'm so glad she got it off her chest because it wasn't all mine. But, as a result of we were able to really express some things that's been bothering her. I was able to help her to internalize, to, be able to approach her feelings, approach her husband with her feelings, the things that she can say, or, just to be honest about what's on her heart. Because at the end of the day, you could only control the way in which you manage a situation. You cannot control your husband or your significant other. You can express your expectation, but you cannot control how they receive it. You cannot control if they receive it or not. You cannot control. If you have a partner with a wandering eye, if you have a partner who's taking other women's numbers, if you have a partner who's having affairs, that's he or her business. That's their issue. That's their insecurity. It just so happens you're part of it because you're in that relationship. The next thing is, what do I do in this situation? Not what do I do to make him love me. Not what do I do to make him realize that he needs his stuff because I'm important. No. What do I need to do for me to help strengthen me, to help build me up? So all of you ladies out there, I'm walking around, didn't even know this woman wanted to literally punch me in the face. And all for what? Because she has a husband with a wandering eye. And he also had the courage to write down my number to be his relationship coach. And so, that's a question. When are you going to earn your position, ladies? You have to earn your position, because your husband or your significant other can't earn your position. They're busy earning theirs. And it looks like for many of you, you're trying to earn theirs too. Right? So remember this. 1, don't approach the woman. Because most times it's not her. And yet there are some women with wandering eyes, some women that just continue to go at your husband or your significant. We have it everywhere. Everything comes at a price. Relationships, anything comes at a price. But when you know who you are, when you know what you stand for, not that you're the best thing since sliced bread to other people, but you should be the best thing since sliced bread for yourself, right? But when you know who you are, what you stand for, what love means to you, and what your expectations are, and you've expressed and conveyed them to your significant other, you now have to earn it. You can't go back on it. So if you say to your husband or your boyfriend, you know what? Guess what? If you mess around, I'm out that door. And you find out he messes around and you're in the house crying, boo-hooing, constantly arguing, making off, breaking up ferns, breaking up pots and pans, staying around, and then a month later you're not talking about it, and then a year later you're talking about it again. By then there's 4 and 5 more women. You're not serious, are you? So you haven't set no boundaries. You haven't set any standards for you. Okay, ladies? So I just had to share that because that took me for a loop. You know, I mean, I will be out literally defending myself from somebody that I haven't a clue who her husband is. All right, guys? So I just had to share. I had to come live for that because I just had to get it off my chest. You have to know who you are, why you are, what you represent. And then when you do that, you have to know what it is that you would like to see. What are your expectations in your relationships? And you can't go into these relationships with these expectations knowing your partner's expectations are totally different. If you are dating someone, if you are married to someone, and your expectations and your morals and principles and ideals for marriage doesn't line up, or relationship doesn't line up, you have a decision to make. Yes. And no, I'm not a client to my husband. Neither is he a client to me. However, we have to be clear on our expectations. If you start settling from the beginning, be sure your sailboat's going to be full midway and to the end. So earn it, ladies. You have to earn it. Earn who you are. Earn your position. And don't go around threatening to punch anybody in the face. Because be clear on this. Had she punched me in the face, she would have been in a whole lot of trouble. And for what? Him. Take care. Thanks for joining.